Open the notes.
Sir, can you tell the page number, please?
Okay, page number. Just a minute. Last chapter. Page number.
Got it, sir.
Not there.
Thank you.
Last chapter. Okay. So the lesson is the D and F block elements. Before going to this particular chapter, first you should know how many orbitals are there. You know that there is a s orbital, there is a p orbital, there is a d orbital, there is a f orbital. Okay, now in 11th standard you have seen s orbital. In s orbital, which groups are there? Group 1 and group 2. P orbital, which groups are there? P orbital, from which group p orbital starts in periodic table?
13.
Very
13.
good, it's 13, and it extends till
18.
group 18. Very good. So total 6 groups are there in p orbital, 2 groups are there in s orbital, d orbital. Now d orbital starts from which group?
4.
2,
4.
Group 4
No,
or group
3
3?
to 12.
From group 3 to 12. Very good. So if you count this, then it will come to 10. Okay. F orbital. Now what is here with respect to the F orbital? No need to think like which group will come under the F orbital, because F orbital is little bit different from the other groups, okay, or other orbitals. This chemistry of the F orbital is little bit different. So we cannot say like this group starts from which group. That is, and doesn't matter also. Okay, so I will tell you what you need to remember. Now this is the first we will see with respect to d orbital, because in this chapter, first of all, you try to understand that we are going to study here d and f block elements. That means d and f. S we have studied in the 11th standard. P chapter, that is p block, is there for you in 12th standard, but we will see it in the last. Okay, d we are going to see now, and f we are going to see now. So first we will study more about the d block elements. Okay, so where exactly d orbitals lies in periodic table, first you should know that. Now we'll go more about the d orbital. If you have the periodic table, open the periodic table. Open your periodic table if you have, anyone. Okay, now if you look at the periodic table, then how it is? This is your group 1, group 2, nothing but a s block. Then from here you see your p block. Then if you see, this is a d block. So we are going to learn more about the d block. Now in this, what are the things are there? This is one row, this is one row, this is another row. So total 3 rows will be there in the d orbital. This is called as a first transition series. This first row in the d orbital is called as a first transition series. Second transition series, this is the second one. Third transition series. Okay, and fourth is there, and fourth transition series. So total 4 rows are there which are coming under the d block. Now somewhere here and somewhere here. So in third and fourth transition series, that means in third row and fourth row, something called lanthanum and actinium starts. this is nothing but a F block elements. So F block element starts from here, this lanthanum series, it is called as an actinum series. But here they have not mentioned that. So totally 14 elements are there in lanthanum and 14 elements are there in the actinum. But they have not mentioned it here. Actually, if suppose we are mentioning 14 and then if suppose we are mentioning the D block, then it would be extended. We cannot fit our periodic table in one chart. Because of that, what they have done, this lanthanum and actinum, that is F block element, they have shown separately below the periodic table. This is the F block. Did you see these things on your notes, or sorry, on your periodic table? If you have a periodic table,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
this below things, this is the F block. So below two columns, this thing rows, you can see this is a F block, and this rows you can see these are the D block. This row, this chemistry is not found out yet. Still the research is going on. So we are not going to see anything with respect to the fourth transition series because it is incompleted. Now it's complete, but total chemistry is not completed here. Okay, so fourth transition series you just forget. Only you should most important is the first transition series. You should know each and everything from top to bottom of the first transition series. Second transition series also not that much important. You should know only the elements. If suppose you can do, then better I will say, or else it's okay. So second transition series is little bit important, and third is not required. Only which is required in third and fourth I will tell you. Okay, at least in fourth is you just cancel it. Third, which elements are required, that I will let you know. Okay, which are the things you should know. So this is a D block element, and somewhere F block element is in between. But if suppose in F block element 14 elements are there. Okay, so if suppose we are mentioning all 14 elements, then again we have to mention 10 elements in D block. So our periodic table would have been extended like this till here. Okay, because of this reason, what they have done, they mentioned that lanthanum is here, actinum is here, and both the elements they mentioned below, so that everything should be clumped in one periodic table. Actually, the D F block should be here. Okay, here and here. They should have mentioned that, but they have not mentioned because of this reason that periodic table would have been extended. Okay, so this is the reason they have mentioned it below here. Okay, so this is called as a D block element. This is called as a F block elements. Okay, so please check this. And if you have any doubt, see, we are not going to see S block element. We are not going to see P block element. Our focus is on D block and F block. Okay, so please see, if you have any doubt, you can ask now. Okay, now see here, everybody can see it clearly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see, these things not required, these things not required. This is your S block, this is your P block. Forget about it. Important is we have to focus from 3 to 14, sorry, 12. This is our D block element. This is also called as transition elements. Okay, now here, this, that is 21, scandium, yellow line, first yellow line. Everybody can see this yellow line. 10
Yes, sir.
elements are there.
Yes,
This is called as first transition series. This is called as second transition series. This is called as second transition series. This is called as third transition series. But if you see it minutely, third transition series starts from 72. But before 72, can you see here purple color?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is nothing but a lanthanides, F block element. But as this lanthanides is having 14 elements, and if you are writing that 14 element here, then what would have happened? This would have extended, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So because of this lanthanide and actinide actually comes here. That is 57 to 71 is lanthanide and 89 to 103 is actinides. But as it will be extended, they have written it down. So this is your F block element. Please check. This is your F block element. So here actinide series, no, here chemistry is not totally found out. because actinide series, this last one series is no. So most of the element or all elements are radioactive elements. Remember this, everyone. Same here in fourth transition series of the D block element. This is also all elements are radioactive elements. Can you see this sign here like a fan, yellow and black color? Can you see this sign? Yes or no?
No, sir.
So no.
Please check.
So yes, now we can.
Ah. So this sign indicates that that particular element is a radioactive element. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So wherever you will see such type of the sign where like it's a fan like structure, means like a BMW symbol, I will say, then it is a radioactive element with black and yellow line, this thing color, black and yellow. Okay, so first we have seen entire periodic table, means where exactly D blocks are located and where exactly F blocks is located. Okay, so we have seen this F block and D block. Now I have told you that in between, so this is S block, this is P block, these are called as a D block. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now all elements here, whatever elements comes in this chart is called as a D block element. At the same time, one more word is there called transition elements. It is also called as transition element. So all the elements coming under D block are also called as transition element. But only 3 elements are there at the last. 3 elements. Which are the elements? Zinc, mercury, and zinc, cadmium, and mercury. Zinc, cadmium, and mercury. That means zinc from the first transition series, cadmium is from the second transition series, and mercury is from the third transition series. These 3 elements cannot be called as a transition elements. You can call this as a D block element. So again, I'm clearing all the elements which are there in this first transition series, second transition. So whatever this first, second, third, all elements, you can call all elements are called as a D block elements. You can call, but for all you cannot call transition elements because transition element definition is different. Now what is the different? Whenever outermost all electrons are filled, completely filled, there is no unpaired electron, then you cannot call that particular element as a transition element. So in this case, zinc, if you see atomic number 30, in zinc outermost orbital is what? Completely filled or not? What is the electronic configuration of this? 4s2 3d10. So 4s2 3d10, it's complete or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir. Complete.
So whenever any element in D block element which is having completely outermost orbital filled, then those element cannot be called as a transition element. Now before here copper is this thing in the this thing is there, copper is there here. Copper can be called as transition element. Why? Why?
Complete last shell.
Yes, because incomplete last shell, because one electron is still remaining to fill. So whenever incomplete shells are there, that particular elements can be called as transition element. But those elements where the last shell is complete, like here 4s2 3d10 for a zinc, same here for cadmium also, same here for the mercury, outermost orbital of all these are filled. So you cannot call zinc, cadmium, mercury as a transition element. Very important question here. So whenever anybody is asking you any question like which element in D block element cannot be called as a transition element, then which is your answer? If suppose name the element they are telling, which cannot be called as a transition element from D block element, what is your answer?
Group 12, zinc, cadmium, and Hg, mercury.
Yes, no need to say which group, first, second, third. Zinc, cadmium, mercury. These three words you remember. Zinc, cadmium, mercury. Will you remember this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please
Yes, sir.
mention these things and take one important question here now. Very important question. Name the D block elements. Name the D block element which is not considered as transition elements, which is not considered as transition elements. Question mark. And again you write why, again question mark. You need to tell which element and you need to mention what is the reason. What is your answer? Which element cannot be considered as a transition
Zinc, cadmium,
element?
and mercury are not
Zinc,
considered.
cadmium, mercury.
Zinc, cadmium, mercury. Please write down. Zinc, cadmium, mercury. Now in your own words, can you please tell me why it is not considered as transition elements?
Because they have a complete d orbital, but the last shell is
Very
completely
good.
filled.
Very good. So this is what you can explain with respect to the element, but at the same time you can explain the transition element. Why, which particular elements you can call as a transition element? Wherever incomplete shells are there, then those particular elements can be called as a transition element. So in this case, this element, our shells are completely filled. Okay, so you cannot call it as a transition element. So please take down the answer for this. Why I have said no, write down the reason for this. These elements do not have partially filled D subshell, partially filled D subshells in their elementary state. In their elementary state. Any doubt in this first question?
No, sir.
Good, very good. Take down one more question, important question here, because now I'm going to give in this chapter many questions I'm going to give you, as some things are there on the notes, but as well as that extra things I'm going to dictate. So be prepared and ready for that. Take down. Define transition elements. Define, or what is meant by transition element? Transition elements are those elements which have partially filled D subshell, in their elementary form. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question will not be outside for the exam. Most of the things from the same what I'm going to teach you, from there only everything will come. Now today again I have confirmed from many of my sources, some colleges they have still asking the question on the reduced portion, which is not correct. from the reduced portion. No college can ask the question, your parent can ask, okay, by themselves. Why is so? Because Goa board have sent you the circular. I have sent you that particular circular. So please see that, like in chemical kinetics, activation energy, temperature dependence, catalyst, these things are not there, and it is reduced. Even collision theory, these four things are reduced from the syllabus. For board exam, nobody can ask you the question from these four concepts. That is my guarantee. We can put a complaint there. For Goa board, I'm giving you the guarantee. These four things are completely reduced from the syllabus. So I'm just telling you this. Please keep this in mind. If suppose still for the formative exam, these things are asking, to please clarify your teacher. You should ask your teacher, like these things are reduced. Okay, because if suppose many of the Goan students are going to the examination where the reduced portion will not be there. But if suppose one or two colleges are asking the question from the reduced syllabus, then it is a complete injustice on those students, I can say. Okay, so it's up to you. I have guided you. Now it's up to you how to go about it. Is it clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, very important question. Write the general electronic configuration. Write the general electronic configuration. Very important question. Of D block elements. Of D block element. Your answer is n-1 D 1 to 10 ns 1 to 2. If suppose they are asking you the question to write the general electronic configuration, then this is your answer. This is even there in the 10th standard, this thing 11th standard. You might have learned this. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next is, I'll give you some extra info on the D block element, that is a first transition series. We'll learn some more thing about first transition series. Many things are there. Now, first transition series starts from which period? It starts from which period? Hope you know the periods.
Third period.
Sure.
Wait, okay. Wait.
So fourth.
Fourth period.
You should tell me which period. Third. Third period you are saying. Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
The fourth period.
Fourth
Please open the log table, this thing periodic table, and see which period it is coming. It is the third, this thing fourth period.
Yeah, fourth period.
Okay. So it is from the fourth period, and group is what? From which group to which group? From group 3 to group
12.
12, sir.
Okay. So this is about the period, this about the group. So any doubt in this for group and period with respect to first transition series? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Now, atomic number, that is elements. It starts from the atomic number 21. It starts from, means first transition series starts from atomic number 21. That is called as a scandium. Symbol is Sc. And it ends with respect to atomic number 30. So first transition series ends at atomic number 30. This is called as a zinc. Symbol is Zn. Any doubt till here?
No, sir.
Good. Next, atomic number and elements. Everyone should know this. Okay, atomic number 21. So I'm going to write entire periodic table, this thing, your first transition series. Atomic number 21, element is scandium. Please check. Atomic number 22, element is titanium, right?
Yes, sir.
Atomic number 23, element is vanadium. Atomic number 24, element is chromium. Atomic number 25, element is manganese. 26, atomic number 26, which element? Cobalt. S.
Fe, no?
No, sir.
Sir.
The iron, no.
Cobalt,
Iron.
no?
Iron, Fe.
Sure?
No, sir. Iron. Yes.
Good. Very good. That means at least some people knows about it. Very good. 27.
Cobalt.
Cobalt. Be sure that you are writing the oxygen smaller, carbon is a bigger one. Okay. Atomic number 28. Anybody
Nickel.
can tell?
Nickel.
Nickel. Very good. Atomic number 29.
Copper.
Copper. Atomic number 30.
Zinc.
Zinc.
Everybody should know these things. If any time I'm asking you, you should know this. Even one more thing, not even periodic table, this thing atomic number, not even the symbol, you should also know the electronic configuration also. If suppose now I'm asking you, write down the electronic configuration of the periodic table, you should write down that now itself. So how to write a perfect electronic configuration? Now if the question I'm asking you, give the electronic configuration, write down. Just leave some place here, half page you leave for this and write down. Write the electronic configuration for cobalt. I'm saying cobalt. Whenever you are writing that electronic configuration for a cobalt, first of all, you should write the inert gas. Which inert gas is coming before the this transition series starts? Now this starts from 21.
Neon.
Before that,
No.
which is the
Argon.
argon? Very good. So always remember, whenever you are going to write the electronic configuration of any of this element from 21 to 30, always remember that you need to write the argon at starting in the bracket. Then what is the electronic configuration? 4s3d. Always remember, in first transition series, this is the electronic configuration. What it is? 4s3d. Now how many electrons are there in the 4s? How many electrons are there in the 3d? That you have to count. Now 4s means what? That also I'm going to tell you. What is in the 4s? Till argon atomic number is 18. Till argon atomic number is 18. That means 4s means atomic number 20. Atomic number 20.
20.
And 3d means till atomic number 30. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this particular transition series starts from 3d orbital. That means definitely till 20 means 2 electrons are there in the s orbital. So it is Ar, that is argon, 4s2. This is common. Now it depends upon how many electrons are in the d orbital. Now I am saying cobalt. What is the atomic number of cobalt?
27.
27.
It's very easy. 27. Just see that whenever scandium, it is 1. 1 electron is there in a d orbital. Whenever titanium, 2 electrons are there. Whenever vanadium, 3 electrons are there in the d orbital. Like this, for scandium, how many electrons are there in d orbital?
7.
7.
7. This is your answer. Argon in the bracket 4s2 3d 7.
Understood, sir.
Understood, everyone?
Yes,
How
sir.
to do this?
Yes, sir.
Anyone have any difficulty in this electronic configuration?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
2 electronic configuration. Now 2 elements are there where the electronic configuration little bit changes you have to do. There is an exception. Now, which are the electronic configuration of that? Chromium and copper. I think 11th standard you might have seen this. Now, chromium, whenever you are writing the electronic configuration for chromium, you will say argon, as I have told you that 4s2 3d. What is the electronic configuration in the D case?
4.
4.
4, sir.
4. But if you see here, S2 means it is completely filled. D orbital means 4 electrons are there. Whenever in D orbitals 5 electrons are there, then what you will call it as? It is a stable. It is called half filled. Full filled in D orbital, full filled means how many electrons? 10 electrons. Remember this. Half filled means how many electrons? 5 electrons. Means half. Okay. Always remember, whenever in any orbital, whenever it is a full filled and half filled, that orbital is called as a stable orbital. एक खंयचो ऑर्बिटल जर स्टेबल आसतलो जाल्यार एक जर तितून भितर हाफ फिल्ड आसपाक जायो ना एक जर तो फुल फिल्ड आसपाक जायो. Always remember this. Now in this case, this is completely filled. 2 electrons are maximum. What is the half filled for s orbital?
1.
1. I have told you that either half filled or full filled. In both the cases, your atom is a stable. Now you see, here it is 2 and here it is 3d4. 4 is a stable?
No.
No.
No,
5 is stable
sir.
or not?
Yes.
Yes, 5 is stable. So in that case, to make it stable, what we will do? We will write 1 electron here and 1 electron from this s orbital, we will take it here and we will make it as 5. This is the exception. This is called exception, something extra we need to do. But these things is not required in other cases. It is required only in chromium and the copper. So in this case, you will write 4s1 3d5. Now this is stable, yes or no?
Yes, sir, it is.
Now this is stable, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is the correct electronic configuration for a chromium. Same way for copper. If you see here, argon 4s2 3d9. Now 4s2 means it is stable, but 3d9 means it's stable.
No, sir.
No. 3d10 means stable or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 1 electron from the s orbital we will write for d. So we will make here a 10 and here we will make it as a 1. So now this is stable, even this is stable.
So when the last shell gets completely filled, no, it becomes stable. And so how it is a transition element then? Like it will become like zinc and cadmium, no?
Not see, this is only for writing purpose.
Okay, okay.
This is only for writing purpose.
Okay, sir.
Okay, while writing we have to make everything as stable. That's it.
Okay.
But actually it's not completely stable, no? Still here 1 electron is empty.
Okay, sir.
Understood, no?
Yes, sir.
Half filled, see, half filled means it is a d block element. So here it is half filled, completely incomplete. Whenever it is complete, so that means s orbital 2 electron, d orbital 10 electron, that means it is a complete. Then it is a, you cannot call it as a transition element.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
any doubt in this till here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so you have understood electronic configuration. Now you can write the electronic configuration of all this. Sure?
Yes, sir.
Sure, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so we have seen one more thing, students. Always remember this. They are going to ask you one more thing called unpaired electron. This is one more concept. This is mostly they are asking in the first transition series. What it is? Unpaired electrons. Unpaired means pairing doesn't take place. Now, which is meant by paired and which is meant by unpaired, I'm going to tell you here. Now, if suppose this is a d block element, whenever only electrons are there like this, then these are called as a unpaired electron. Whenever single electron is there, then it is called as a unpaired electron. So in this case, how many electrons are unpaired electrons?
5.
Five.
Five.
Very
sir.
good. Now, how many unpaired electrons are there in this case?
3.
3.
3.
3. So you understood the concept of unpaired electrons?
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes, sir.
good. Now my question to you is, among this total 10 electrons elements are there. Among these 10 elements, which is the element which is having highest number of unpaired electrons? Do it first. You know how to find out the electronic configuration? Yes or no? See, for copper and chromium, I have told you we are writing that only in case of electronic configuration. That thing we are writing just to show it as a stable one.
Sir, 25.
Very good. Very good. Okay. If you see here, electronic configuration is 4s2 3d5. Yes or no? 4s2 3d5. In this case, d orbital is having 5 electrons. Now, how you are going to substitute that 5 electrons? You know the Hund's rule there in 11th standard. Whenever you are going to place a electrons, first you need to fill all the orbitals starting, and then the pairing will take place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 electrons are there. 5 electrons you are placing, and then you will come for pairing. But for pairing, there is no more electrons. So in this case, how many electrons are unpaired?
All 5.
All
All
5
5.
are unpaired. So in this entire thing, magnesium is having the highest unpaired electron, that is the 5. Like this you can see for Fe, like this you can see for cobalt, like this you can see for chromium, vanadium. You should know, because questions are asking for the competitive exams here, because based on the unpaired electron many things can be asked. Magnetic property you can explain. Whenever more number of unpaired electrons are there, that particular element is more paramagnetic. Less number of unpaired electron, more diamagnetic. Diamagnetic means what? Electrons are paired. Whenever all electrons are paired, it is a diamagnetic. Even one electron is unpaired, it is a paramagnetic. Paramagnetic means actual magnet. Diamagnetic means no magnet. So if you see like any substance is working as a magnet, no, attracts, no, then always remember in that elements, no, there will be unpaired electrons. So wherever more number of unpaired electrons are there, it is it act as a more magnetic. That is paramagnetic. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So like this, you should know the number of unpaired electrons in all the cases. Huh? This is for a homework for you people. You need to see how many unpaired electrons are there in each cases. Will you do this? Is it a boring?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So till here we have seen a first transition series. Many things I have told you, which you have never seen till now. Okay, many more important things are also there in depth. One more thing you remember, all the elements, first transition series, second transition series, third transition, all are metals. There is not a single non-metal in this case. Put this in your mind. All are metals. Okay. Okay. Next is second transition series. In second transition series, what you need to remember is Second transition series is nothing but a 4D transition. One more thing I forgot to tell you earlier, first transition series is a 3D. First transition series is 3D. Same way, second transition series is 4D. Remember this. Okay, now here what you need to remember is it starts from the element yttrium, that is atomic number 39, and ends at cadmium. Okay, that is atomic number 48. Okay, now in this case there are many elements inside this, no need to do. Okay, important things I will competitive exams you need to do, but for Goa board is not required. Only few elements are there which I will tell you, like here cadmium is very important. Cadmium is the last element in fourth transition series. Cadmium is the last element in the fourth transition series. Now electronic configuration, in this case it will be 5s2, okay, 5s4d. Earlier it was what, like here I'm doing here in 3D, this thing, first transition series, it is 4s3d electronic configuration. For second transition series it is 5s4d. Third transition series it is 6s5d. Understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very easy. If you know the 3D, you know, this is called as a 3D, this is called as 4D, and this is called as 5D. 6D is not required. So if you know at least 3D, you know, then you have understood that it is regarding a 4D. You just have to increase the number. +1 you have to do. So +1 for this, +1 for this, +1 for this, +1 for this. Because every time K shell is increasing, principal quantum number is increases. Okay, here, every time principal quantum, so extra shell is coming. That's why +1 we are seeing. Okay, so in second transition series, it is a 4D transition. Yttrium starts from yttrium, that is 39, and ends at cadmium, that is 48. Only you remember this much. Okay, one more element is there. In this case, it is called molybdenum. The electronic configuration of molybdenum is, wait, let me check. Okay, this is not required actually. The extra things not required. I will give you the important things only. Now here in this second transition series, which are the important one? Cadmium. Before cadmium, silver is there, and before silver, palladium. So PD, Ag, and Cd. This is the last element, PD, Ag, Cd. So only this you remember. Before that, if anybody is there, no, not that much important. Not that much important. Just remember this. Last 3 elements of the second transition series. Because here more questions they are not cannot ask. Their focus is on first transition series. Second transition, third transition, you just need to remember where it starts and where it ends. Any doubt? We'll proceed.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Many give reasons are there in this chapter. This is just a starting. I'm focusing more for competitive now. These things. Actually, I have not started chapter 8 for Goa board. Third transition series. Third transition series. In this case, it starts from the Just a minute. Huh? Hafnium. It starts from hafnium, that is atomic number 72, and ends at mercury, atomic number 80. Okay. Now in this case, what you need to remember is last elements. That is mercury. Before that, gold, and before that, platinum. These three elements you need to remember. So which elements are important, I will give you. Here I will give zinc, copper, nickel. Focus here. Nickel, copper, zinc. Same way for second transition series, it is PD, Ag, cadmium, and same way it is platinum, gold, and mercury. So it's one after the another, like this. So this you remember. This is for first transition series, this is for second transition series, and this is a third transition series. Only the last three elements which are important, like you should know zinc, cadmium, mercury is in one line. This thing, copper, silver, gold is in one line. Nickel, palladium, platinum is in one line. This thing you should know. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In periodic table, which is the last element, atomic number? Anybody can tell? Last element.
118.
Very good. 118. Can you tell me the name of that element?
Unoctium.
Hmm? What?
Unoctium.
Yes, that was the name given before. Means first they have founded out that thing, no? Before that they have given the name. Now when means actually they have just given that names. Now they have given the actual name for that. Okay, that is just a naming they have given. Okay, Neil. So that is a normal name. Now they have actually given the name. Okay. Now what is the name in this case? Organation.
Transition.
Okay.
Sure.
Remember this. So I have told you most of the fourth transition series are radioactive elements. So fourth transition series is not required. Now all transition elements are metals. Am I right? The statement is correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Very
sir.
good. So all are metals. So that means all are having metallic character. What is mean by metallic character? Which character are called as a metallic characters?
Malleable, ductile, lustrous,
Very good. Very
conduct
good.
electricity and heat,
These
sonorous,
things you people have learned in 10th standard, right?
8th standard.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
8th. Okay. So you know that metallic character means these are the characters. Now he told already ductility, malleability, many things are there. Okay. So these all characters are there in a transition metals also. Okay. Now important is these transition metals are very strong. Zinc is strong or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Copper is strong or not?
Yes,
Gold,
sir.
Gold is strong or not?
No.
Magnesium, all are strong. These metals are very strong.
Gold is soft, no?
Which one?
Gold.
No, not in that way. In solid form, I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay, easily it will not be like if suppose I'm giving you the ball of gold of this much. Can you press it and make it like this?
No.
No, sir.
No. So little bit harder. Not I'm not saying the hardest. Okay, but
sir.
all are hard here. Now, why these metals are hard? This is my question. Why these metals are transition metals are hard in nature? I want that answer. Everybody knows that metals are hard. Some metals are
So
soft.
because of the electron pressure created by the moving electrons.
No, not at all. This what you are saying that it is that answer cannot be accepted anywhere. Huh?
Sir, because the forces of attraction between them is stronger.
Yes, very good. It is because of the strong attraction force. Now, from where you are getting this strong attraction force? It's because of the again unpaired electron.
Unpaired electron, d electron.
Okay, whenever unpaired electrons are there, that time what happens? Now, if suppose I'm talking about the zinc and zinc, so unpaired sorry, not zinc. Zinc actually don't have unpaired electron. I'm saying magnesium or a iron, we can say Fe. So Fe, unpaired electron of one atom of the Fe, unpaired electron of the another atom of Fe comes together, and unpaired electron here also unpaired, here also unpaired. They will pair with themselves now. So how they will going to pair? They will come on each other? No, they will make a strong attraction force between them, and because of that they are stronger. Understood? So in transition element there are more of the unpaired electrons, and wherever unpaired electrons there is a strong attractive forces. Understood? Yes,
Yes,
or
sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, very good. So take down the question. Most of the transition metals are hard. Most of the transition metals are hard. Take down. Separate question you take down. Chromium. Chromium. Tungsten and molybdenum. Remember this series, huh? Like how we have remembered for zinc, cadmium, mercury, one after the another. Yes or no? Zinc, cadmium, mercury. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Same here. You remember this series also. What is that? Chromium, tungsten, and molybdenum. Actually, it is molybdenum is coming on top. Tungsten is below. Actually, molybdenum is here. It is in the second transition series, and tungsten is in the third transition series. So this series you remember. Now, just before I have asked regarding the question where the most number of unpaired electrons are there, we said the manganese. Okay, but if you go through the electronic configuration, there in this case, in this series, the electronic configuration says that it is 4s1 3d5. This is the way we have written for chromium.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if you see here, how many unpaired electrons are
6.
there in this case?
6.
6 electrons. And in manganese, how many electrons?
5.
5. Manganese we have just seen for the d orbitals. Okay, here we are going to see for all the orbitals. So whenever we are considering all the orbitals, chromium is showing the most unpaired electrons. Will you remember this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Same way for the molybdenum. So molybdenum will also show the 6 electron, and tungsten is also showing the 6 electron, because chemistry is same. They are just one after the another. Whatever is shown by the chromium, same way molybdenum will show, same way tungsten will show. Is it clear? And I have told you that
Yes, sir.
whenever more number of electrons, unpaired electrons, it is more stronger because of the, you told me that because of the strongest attractive forces. Okay, all the things. So please remember, in entire transition series, chromium, molybdenum, and tungsten are showing the hardest metals. So please note down this: chromium, molybdenum, and tungsten are hard metals. Are hard metals. Give reason. Please remember this, huh? These things can be asked for the competitive exams. Give reason. Write down the answer. This is due to the presence of strong bonding due to overlap of unpaired electrons. Due to overlap of unpaired electrons between different metal atoms. Between different metal atoms. So what will happen? Greater the number of unpaired electrons, greater will be the as per
Forces of
the
attraction
statement.
between the atoms.
Simply attraction will not come. Before the attraction, there should be overlapping. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So don't forget this. So greater the number of unpaired electrons, greater is the overlapping, and more the overlapping, strong the bond. That is attraction forces. So please mention these things. Greater is the number of unpaired electrons. Greater is the overlapping between the atoms. Greater is the overlapping between the atoms. And stronger is the strength of the bond. And stronger is the strength of the bond. Okay, now I am asking you more number of unpaired electrons. Students, among first transition, second transition, third transition series, which element is having more number of unpaired electrons? Which element have more number of unpaired electrons?
Chromium, tungsten, and MO.
Very good. Chromium, this is called molybdenum. Chromium, molybdenum, and tungsten. Okay, so this is having more number of unpaired electrons. So whenever more number of unpaired electrons means it is hard or soft?
Hard.
Hard, sir.
Very good.
Hard.
Very good. It is very, very hard. Okay, same way. Less number of unpaired electrons or no unpaired electrons. Can you tell me which
So,
element is having no unpaired electrons or less unpaired electrons?
Zinc.
Very good. Zinc. Last star there, no? Their orbitals are completely filled, no? Whenever it is completely filled, where you will get unpaired electrons? Think. So zinc, then zinc is in the first transition series. What is there in second transition series?
Cadmium.
Very good. Cadmium. And third one is mercury.
Mercury.
Okay, so these are the elements. This is in first transition, this is in second transition, this is third. So here first, second, third, okay, is having the lowest number of unpaired electrons. So whenever it is less number of unpaired electrons, what you will call, student, whether it is hard or soft?
Soft, sir.
Soft.
Soft metal.
So this is one of the most important things we have learned today. So these are the hardest metals in the transition element, and these are the soft metals in the transition element. You have seen, students, no, mercury is in liquid state, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It is because of this reason. This metal is very soft. Same cadmium is soft. Same zinc is also soft. You have seen this tungsten. Tungsten is very strong. That's why we are using a tungsten filament in a bulb. So even if we hit, that thing doesn't melt easily because it is having a strong attraction force because of the unpaired electrons. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the today some of the important things or some new things you have learned. Okay. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Good. Next. Next is a graph is there, students. Okay, this is an atomic number. You can see on the notes, and this is a melting point. Atomic number and melting point. Okay, now can you see the three graphs here?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Three graphs
sir.
you can see, no? So what is this three graphs? These are nothing but a first transition series, second transition series, and third transition series. Okay, and they have mentioned regarding melting point. Now melting point means what? Melting point means what? It changes from solid to liquid. So if suppose any compound is required more time to turn from solid to liquid, we are saying that that particular compound is having high melting point. So in this case, in your entire chart, students, who is on the top list to melt? Which
Tungsten.
symbol you can
Tungsten.
say?
Tungsten.
Tungsten.
Tungsten. This is the reason why we are using tungsten as a filament in the bulb, because tungsten takes very high temperature to melt. Okay, so please remember. So third transition series, here tungsten is the highest one to get the melting point. Okay, then if you see in second transition series, who is the highest, students? I'm just talking about highest. I don't want that other things you can do later if you want.
Molybdenum.
Molybdenum, very good. And in first transition series, who is the highest one?
Chromium.
Chromium. Will you remember this?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
melting point is highest for tungsten, then molybdenum, then chromium. If you are asking, and if suppose they are asking in first transition series, who is having the highest melting point?
Chromium.
Who is in the second transition series?
Molybdenum.
And in third transition series?
Tungsten.
Very good. Okay. Please note down this thing. This graph you will not draw for the exam. Huh? This is for you. And this graph will not be asked for the exam. That also I'm telling you. See, these things in depth I'm telling because of competitive exams. Okay. Now you note down one important question, which is already many a times this asked for the formative exams. Why transition element have high enthalpy of atomization? Why transition element have high enthalpy of atomization? High enthalpy of atomization. High enthalpy of atomization means, what is the meaning? It is nothing but a melting point. Okay, it is nothing but a melting point. So here high enthalpy means nothing but a energy. Atomization means what? To break the atoms. Okay, so to break the atom, if suppose more amount of energy is required, that time you can call it as it is having a high enthalpy of atomization. If it requires a less amount of energy, then you can call it as less enthalpy of atomization. So you can compare this enthalpy of atomization with respect to a melting point, because enthalpy of atomization, what the definition I have told, is equal to the melting point. So if suppose we are saying more amount of energy is required to break the bond, we are saying high melting point. If suppose less amount of energy is required to break the bond, we are saying less melting point. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So question is, why transition element have high enthalpy of atomization? Take down the answer. Transition elements have high effective nuclear charge. Transition elements have high effective nuclear charge. Somebody have kept the mic on, please check. And large number of valence electrons. And large number of valence electrons, which favors strong interatomic interaction, which favors strong interatomic interaction. Therefore they form very strong metallic bonds. Therefore they form very strong metallic bonds. As we have already discussed, why it is having high melting point, why it is so hard. It is because of nothing but unpaired electrons. Whenever unpaired electrons are there, then there is a strong overlapping, and if suppose strong overlapping is there, then there is a strong interatomic interaction, and if suppose strong interatomic interaction, they are very means they form a very strong metallic bonds, then it is very difficult to break. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is, take down next question you take down. Why second and third transition series have high enthalpy of atomization? Why second and third transition series have high enthalpy of atomization than first transition series? Okay, this question most of the time they have never asked actually, but I have framed this, so I'm just giving this whoever like important things. Whenever I'm telling anything, like just now what question I have given, that is a very important question. So whichever question I'm telling important, after that if you have a time, then you can do this question. Okay, this is not that important question, but just I'm giving you what is the question. Second and third transition series. So whenever we are comparing the enthalpy of atomization for a second and third transition or first transition series, then always remember that third is having the highest enthalpy of atomization. That means melting point also you can say. Then it is a second, and then it is a first transition series. Now why it is so? It is one and only reason that for second and third transition series there is a F block elements. Okay, in between there is a F block is there, and because of that there is a nuclear screening effect there. Okay, so just first I will give you all these things. Take down. First I will give you the answer. First transition series first transition series electrons filled in only d orbital. First transition series electron filled in only d orbitals. This everyone knows that in first transition series only d orbital is available. But in second and third series, electron filled in both d and f orbitals. Full stop. As nuclear screening effect, in f orbital is less. As nuclear screening effect, this is the major answer, main answer, you can underline this. As the nuclear screening effect in f orbital is less than in d orbital, so the nuclear attraction faced by the outermost electron, is far greater in second and third series. Thus it becomes difficult to remove an electron from metals of the second and third series. To remove the electron from the metals of the second and third series. Full stop. So this question is not that important, students. Very less chances are there to ask this particular question, because many more important things are there in this chapter. I have just given this. If suppose you have finished with that, you can do this. Okay, whichever important things, whenever I'm telling that thing, when you are going to finish, then you can go for this particular question, or else you don't go. Okay, next is atomic radii. Okay, regarding atomic radii, now what happens with respect to atomic radii? We are not going to see the atomic radii in column wise, whereas we are going to see the atomic radii with respect to the row wise. So what is happening atomic radii from left to right, that is first transition series, second or third? So exactly what happens? Atomic radii increases or atomic radii decreases? Okay, so anyone can tell me what happens to the atomic radii from left to right?
Decreases.
Decreases.
Very good. So just write down atomic radii decreases across the period. Atomic radii decreases across the period. So for all, it will happen like this. Like this. Decreases. Atomic radii decreases across the period. with increase in atomic number. With increase in atomic number. Okay, so actually why this is happening, student, why this is a trend from here to here, why the atomic size decreases? What is the reason?
More nuclear charge.
Very good. So if you see here, whether we are talking about the first series, second or third, you don't compare. Now, if suppose we are talking about the first series, this is nothing but a which period? Fourth period. That means four shells are there here. Okay, so shells are not going to change in this, but as you go from here to here, atomic number is increases, and as the atomic number increases, electrons are also increases. So here, if suppose electron, you can consider particular electrons, then here electron will be more, here electron will be more, here electron. Why? Because atomic number increases. So as you go from left to right, what happens to the atomic number? Atomic number increases. And as the atomic number increases, electrons also increases. So if suppose more number of electrons are there, then what will happen? Those electrons which are there surrounding there, it will be attracted more by the center at the nucleus. So that nucleus will attract those electrons. So as more and more number of electrons are coming there, more attraction will be there. And if suppose more attraction will be there, then the atom will become compressed. And as it will become compressed, you can say that the size will become smaller and smaller. So when the size becomes smaller, it is because of the increase of the electron. And if suppose if the electrons are increasing, that means nuclear charge increases. And if suppose nuclear charge increases, attraction between the nucleus and the electron increases. And if suppose attraction increases, then it will attract from all the sides of the electron, this thing atom. This side it will attract the electron, this side it will attract, all the side it will attract. So size will become smaller and smaller. So as you go from here to here, atomic number, this thing electrons increases, and as such the atomic size decreases. Understood the concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Okay. Now I'm giving you very important question. Take down. The ionic radii of lanthanide series. The ionic radii of lanthanide series or 5D series or 5D series, or see different type ways they can ask you the question. So I'm giving or they can ask anyone. So again I'm dictating the ionic radii of lanthanide series or 5D series, or from lanthanum LANTHANUM, from lanthanum to lutetium LUTETIUM, decreases. Give reason. The ionic radii of the lanthanide series or 5D series or from lanthanum to lutetium decreases. Give reason. Write down the answer. This is one of the most important question. Please mention this. Very, very important question. Very small answer is there, but you should write it in a perfect way. There is a steady decrease in the atomic radii. There is a steady decrease in the atomic radii as the atomic number increases. As the atomic number increases. This is due to poor shielding, POOR, poor shielding of 4f orbital. This is due to poor shielding of 4f orbital. It is also called as lengthened contraction. It is also called as lengthened contraction. Okay, actually students, this particular answer I have just given you, this I will explain in the next class. Okay, today I have some urgent work, I need to go. So today here only I will finish the class. Okay, so this particular question I have just given you the question. Okay, so explanation of this particular question I will give you on Monday. Okay, so Monday will continue with our class. No need to worry, I'm going to go very slow because some of the part is reduced from the syllabus. So whatever I'm going to teach you, I will teach you perfectly so that you are not going to miss a single mark in this particular chapter. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Make sure that everybody have given the attendance.
Yes, sir.
Yes.